This is bokeh effect. This is a lighting effect that occurs when you take out of focus photographs of like light using a fast lens at the widest aperture. It's defined as the effect of a soft out of focus background that you get when shooting a subject using a fast lens at the widest aperture. Simply put, bokeh is the pleasing aesthetic quality of out of focus blur in a photograph. Okay, so these things here are bokeh. They're purposely taken out of focus, and they're just like light orbs. The things that I record are not like this. The things that I record have structure. They have internal structure that's fucking moving. Now, here's some of the objects that I record. This is from plastic, the same kind of plastic used for 3D printing. I was just messing with a 3D printing pen, and I just happened to catch these. I wasn't even trying to look for them this time. I'll do some zooming in here on various parts. I don't really do any slowing down in this video. I'll do some other special videos where I chop pieces of this out and then slow it down and alter the put it through like filters and stuff to try and make the details more apparent so you can see them easier. If I could ever hold the camera still. What's wrong with you, stupid? Hold still. We're moving. There we go. Here you even catch some of the electrons because I'm at a higher focal point where the camera is focusing on the projection. You can change the focal point by adjusting the height or the distance between the subject you're shooting and the camera. And everything that projects an atom has its own unique angle. These objects are not sensor errors. If they were sensor errors, they wouldn't be round, they'd be square. You can also see the energy and stuff when I get really close up. If you look around these objects, you'll see like almost waves. And these are the electromagnetic fields emanating from the atoms. It's really kind of awesome. Bones are able to pick up infrared light. They're able to see a lot of things that we can't see with our own eyes. Yeah, there's no sensor. Some people have said it's an IR sensor, which is just the infrared sensor for determining distance. But I do all my stuff on manual, so I adjust everything manually, so that sensors wouldn't even be a issue. Now here's a good close-up shot. Now, while it's still, you can see that there's movement occurring around it, in the middle, in the center. Different parts are moving in different ways. The rings seem to be going in kind of a circular pattern, while the core in the center kind of jumps. It's really weird the way it jumps. It's like kind of a thing. And then you see the black dots appear every once in a while. Those are the electrons. They switch between positive and negative. This was proven during the cathode ray tube experiment. Trust me, when the electron didn't crash into the positive charged anode, we knew that the electron was both positive and negative. That's the duality of electrons. It's not because they're a particle in a wave. That's nonsense. Nothing is a particle in a wave. The dual slit was wrong. The dual slit was just a projection of light from the atoms of the air in the slit. This is why interference does not occur in a vacuum, because if you have no air in the slit, then there's nothing to project the light, and you'll just get a normal shadow. Because this is plastic, I think it's got a weird magnetic field on the magnetic dome. The underside contains the electric field, which is where the charged particles get pulled out of the atom and then back down to the bottom underneath, where the reversed core, or the gap between the core and the dome, creates suction and cause the particles to get pulled back into the atom. This only occurs when they are directly underneath the core, though. Different focal points pick up more or less of the magnetic field. Right here we're picking up a lot of the magnetic field. That's why so much light is being reflected. It all depends on the angle. Usually these things appear better in the peripheral, kind of the edges of the camera for some reason. Not sure why they're more easy. They're easier to see when they're on the edges, but they are. If this was a reflection of anything on the camera, which I've already proven it isn't by using different cameras as well as different light sources to cause the atoms to project themselves. But if it was part of the camera being reflected back, every time I move the camera, the reflection itself would change. So the atom you see, the angle, everything on it would change as the camera changed angles, and every time I moved it, you would see it just change in the reflection, if it was a reflection, but it's not. This is a projection. It's the atom absorbing light and then re-emitting the light in the correct perspective of my camera, the observer. I think they're cool. It's going to change like pretty much all the physics. You see my way, I kind of move my finger there a little bit, and it changes the focus of it a little bit. Changes the depth of the focus. It goes a little deeper. The reason the background is out of focus when these objects are in focus is because these are projections. They're being projected about a millimeter above the actual surface of the material. So instead of seeing the surface of the material, you're seeing above the surface of the material. It's focusing on this, and when you focus on something in the foreground, everything in the background gets out of focus. So that's why the rest of the picture is out of focus, while these are in focus. And they also kind of go completely against what the bokeh effect is, which is out of focus shots. They're meant to be taken out of focus. These aren't out of focus. For the most part, these are in focus. The only reason you're seeing so much glare right here is because it's picking up so much of the reflected light. If I change the angle slightly, you pick up less of the reflected light, and you'd see more of the details of the atom as well as the rings around the core. But I was trying to get parts of the electron so you could see the whole structure. You got the core in the middle, the rings surrounding it, a magnetic dome on top, an electrical field on the bottom. These two fields combine in the outer ring. That's why it makes it so pronounced. The electrical field is created by the charged particles, or the protons, being pushed out of the atom and then pulled back in by the negative side of the core. I believe the core is kind of like a paper bag. So what you're seeing, it looks like a round object, but I don't believe that it is. I believe that it's more like a sack, and you're seeing the bottom of the sack kind of inflated towards us. And the underside is like where the negative is, and it's pulling it in from the underneath. So pulls it in and pushes it out. But this is happens so fast. It's like constantly chasing itself. The charged particles in the atom got condensed. This created a gap. The gap created pull. The pull created push. The push pushed the, it all boils down to, what happened first, the chicken or the egg. So there's both push and pull exist inside the atoms. The core pushes the charged particles that break loose away, and then the core also pulls the charged particles back in. I assume it only gets pushed away probably for X amount until enough of the charge drops off to where it gets attracted again. The dislodging of the charged particles occurs when, I believe, the electrons reach maximum capacity and then get pulled into the atom itself as well. My theory on electrons is it is the collection of either outgoing or incoming charge that isn't equal to a proton. So it's at a deficit, or negative. It has a negative because it's less than a proton, but it is charged, so it has a positive as well. And when these charged become exactly one proton, they get pulled out of orbit and into the atom. And probably the reverse is true. When they reach negative, they probably get ejected or something along those lines, if they reach complete negative. All right. Hope you guys enjoy this. I'll try and get some more out as soon as possible. Have a great day, guys. Keep learning. Stay woke. And remember, push this, man. Please like, share, favorite, repost. Getting the word out on this helps. I need peer review. What I need is scientists to actually take it seriously and try it and experiment with it as I have, so that they can learn what I've learned about our universe. I hate being the smartest person on the planet. Y'all need to catch up, please, so I have somebody to talk to about this shit. All right. Have fun, guys. Talk to y'all real soon. Bye.